To onboard your projects onto CircleCI and you want to know where to start and what to do. Great, let's walk through onboarding and configuration. We have two node projects in this situation that I want to onboard and get building. At present, they're really simple Express servers in a really early state. Our first stop on this journey is authenticating into our organization. In our case, we're going to hit login on the CircleCI page. I'm going to log in with BitBucket. On this page, I'm able to see I want to log in with the organization Atlassian Better Together through OAuth. And then now that I'm authenticated, we're sent over to the projects page, and I can see the project list that I get from BitBucket here. I'm able to see all of the projects that I have read and write access to in our BitBucket instance. There are a few different actions that I can see on this list, and we'll touch base on all of them. First, if you're a trailblazer who is onboarding your organization for the first time, you'll see that all the projects have the setup project option here. This means we can see the project because it's in BitBucket, but it doesn't have the webhooks and SSH keys set up just yet, and it isn't building on changes. We'll come back to that one in a minute. If there are already teams building on CircleCI and you're joining the party, you can expect to see a lot of follow project options. Follow projects means the project has been set up and is building on CircleCI, but it currently isn't in your feed for changes. So if I run over to the pipelines page, this is a list of streaming list of changes for all the projects that I'm following. But back to projects. So if you've already followed the projects and you've got a streaming list, what you'll see is a lot of unfollowed projects is the last option left. In our case, we're following changes for most repos here. So returning back to that setup project I touched on a second ago, what happens when you select this is you're letting CircleCI take care of the process to set up the keys and to add a webhook. What this means is whenever there's a change in the project, CircleCI is notified and we're looking for a config file. And then we'll run work based on the specifications set up in the config file. And we have plenty of ways to make configs clean and easy in the orb section, but for now, we just want to get set up and building. So let's onboard that new node app we're talking about. So we have the two scenarios. The first is where we have a config file already set up in our repository. If that's the case, we can simply select Setup Project. CircleCI is actually going to detect the config file and then take care of all of the keys and webhooks. From an end user perspective, I'm actually now building on changes. I don't need to do anything else. So every subsequent commit, I'm going to get the same work built without having to do any changes. So pretty easy, right? Now in a situation where you might not yet have a config file set up in your app, you can also click the same Setup Project button to set things up. And then what happens in this situation, this is really cool, CircleCI comes in and takes a look at the project and actually provides a base config file that covers the right pieces, includes the languages that we're using. So in this case, it's going to detect that it's a node app, it's going to run some installation, caching, and testing for me. So really, I have this insanely quick onboarding process where I can be seeing green builds with a click of a button. And I can go in and see the config file that it provides here. So really, that's it. We just saw how to sign up and get projects onboarded with no overhead. For end users, you can be up and running in a matter of seconds with no manual configuration or tinkering about. Happy building.